Hello, everyone. Welcome to another segment of the Cookie Jar. My name is Tia Dabney, and I'm a program management specialist with the Girl Scouts of Western New York. And with me, I have a very special guest today. It is Miss Syracuse herself, Taisha St Jean. She's joining us today. We're going to chat about her pageantry, her platform, her business, and more. But before we get started, I did just want to say that if you are interested in volunteering with the Girl Scouts of Western New York, we would really appreciate your time in a myriad of different ways you can volunteer with us. So feel free to visit gswny.org for more information. But let's just hop into this conversation with Miss Taisha. Hi, Taisha. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure your schedule is busy. So let's just get right into the conversation. As I mentioned before, you are currently Miss Syracuse. So tell us about how that's been. Before we started this recording, we were talking about kind of how something a bit unprecedented happened because of the coronavirus. So feel free to just kind of tell us how your reign has been so far.
Yes, so unfortunately, due to the pandemic, the competition got postponed. Not once, not twice, but three times.
Oh,
So
wow.
it got postponed from May to July, and we were really crossing our fingers, and now it won't be until next year. So I get to be in Syracuse for 2 years, which I'm really grateful for because I didn't get a chance to do too many appearances. I won my title in February.
Oh,
March, we were shut down.
oh
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, it was something. I had so many appearances scheduled. I was supposed to do a hospital visit the week we got shut down.
Oh wow.
And it was like, whoa, I went from having like 20 appearances in a month to having zero in like an hour
Right.
of getting emails, phone calls. So I understand anyone who had an event and you were looking forward to it and then got canceled. I get it. A bit about me more than being Miss Syracuse. I am the director of communications for the Buffalo Common Council. I am an adjunct professor for Medaille College, so I teach public speaking and communication. I have an undergrad degree, a bachelor's degree in communications, and a master's degree in integrative marketing communications.
Um,
So for me, being able to use my different outlets in my, not only in pageantry, but in life is so nice.
yes, yes. And that's awesome. Your resume is great. I mean, multiple degrees, multiple jobs. I think that's amazing. And I love how, I'm sure your title was just kind of like a probably a road to you kind of bringing everything that you've done together and really like an avenue to really, get what you do out more and get the word out more about your business, which I would like to learn more about. Please tell me about your business.
Sure. So I created a long, long time ago it's called Creating Endless Opportunities. And I have to make sure I put creating because I will get sued if I don't. So I will make sure creating or lawyer will kill me for that one.
Okay.
So overall, I was a student and I went to Medaille College with a Say Yes scholarship. I was in the first class of that. And unfortunately, I had some other private scholarships and one of those funds tapped out when I
Mm.
was literally gonna graduate. I got a phone call from student accounts on my birthday.
Oh my.
I owed $2,000 to the school, and I had a certain time frame to pay it. So
Wow.
instead of me giving up, being upset, I just decided I'm going to graduate. I already got asked to be the commencement speaker at graduation. This is going to happen. So I
Mhm.
started finding scholarships, applying to everything possible, talking to financial aid, doing what I could do as a student. By the end of that journey, Tia, I ended up getting $7,000. They
Wow.
owed me money by the end of that time frame. And
Wow.
it just taught me that if you really wanted something, you have to learn what resources are available. I've
Yeah.
seen so many of my peers, unfortunately, not knowing what process to go, are afraid to ask for help,
Right.
and they dropped out. I have so many friends who I've seen because their scholarships tapped out or they didn't know what to do or they didn't get tap and pay because their parents made different amounts of money and this never continued their education.
Yeah.
So after seeing so many Black and Hispanic and Haitian people, my people doing this, I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to make it free. And I wanted to make sure that everyone had the right ideas, resources. They were ready for college and life. So creating endless opportunities, we provide college readiness, leadership skills, and most importantly, we help people find scholarships. This year alone, we made over $720,000 in scholarships we found for our students. I've helped over 11,000 students, and we are nationwide. So I have students from Vegas to North Carolina, in New York State, Oklahoma, Florida, you name it. We are helping students from all different time zones, which is sometimes confusing, but we do it. And we realize that no matter what background, no matter where they come, even if some families, they're confused on how to even do FAFSA or how to start the application process.
Right.
So we're able to bridge that gap and make sure everyone's prepared for the process and what happens after. You often see people helping, but what happens when they get into the school and they have that heart set on that school, but they can't afford it? Yeah. What do we tell them? Not to go there? No, we help them try to find scholarships so they can follow their dreams.
Oh, I love that. And I especially like the point that you make just in terms of sometimes people just don't know. And, especially if we're thinking about, immigrant families, maybe they're the first to go to college in their family. So they can't turn to their parents, and ask them how to fill out their FAFSA, ask them what they should do about getting scholarships and things like that. So having an avenue that, kids can turn to for things like that is, I think, so important. And I think it's really important for, different communities as well.
Absolutely. I would like to mention too, sometimes I had students who had 99 average, and I'm so proud of her. She just went to school, a full ride. Her mother was supposed to choose between her cancer treatment or her daughter's tuition. That was the choice she felt like. Her mother called me and felt like she had to make. Well, I helped her find a way where she can go, her daughter could go to out of state school in a full ride. Out of full ride, because I knew it was possible. And I feel like oftentimes we don't know everyone's situation. But what I do know is that I take that time to learn each student and talk to their parents and understand what's the best fit for them. Yeah. And not let obstacles, because I come from a low income family, so I understand the obstacles of going to college and thinking that you only can go probably to a public school or go a 2-year school. And it's nothing bad about that. Trust me, it's the perfect path for everyone. Yes. But when I see a student who had a super high SAT score in an almost 100 average, you can do better. So don't be afraid because of your situation. And that's what we encourage our young people to just allow us to help them and guide them. And then in the end of the day, they'll make the decision.
I love that. I really love what you're doing. I think it's so important. And sometimes it's important to just see someone doing it, just by simply seeing someone achieve all of these things, it makes you feel like, you know what, I can do that too. So I think it's very important. I just kind of want to go back. I know you said your organization provides numerous resources for you to prepare them for college. So what would you say going to college for yourself? How did that prepare you, and why do you think that that's important for other young girls in terms of just kind of setting themselves up for success?
I would like to mention first, because I always say college is not for everyone. I hear that. I get that. And if somebody says it is, they're lying. I'm going to be here. They're lying, because sometimes you may love a trade. You may want to become an entrepreneur. I know people who are young people who started a business in Western New York, the kid with the bow tie.
Yes.
Think about that. Like, he's a young person. If he decides down the line not to go to college, are we going to judge him less? But if he can get those programs, sign up, get certificates, and learn how to build a great business, then do it. Follow your passion. I want to say that. Follow your passion. College was my passion. I love education. I'm a professor, so obviously it's something that I love. And it helped me being in Madai, earning an internship. I had an internship that landed to be now my full-time job. I started as an intern, then I was an assistant. I built my way up within the company of the city of Buffalo, and now I'm a director of communication. So what I would say is, if you do go to college, don't only rely on the courses that you learn, because yes, they're going to be instrumental in your career, but take advantage of internships. That's what really matters. If
Mm-hmm.
you do a good job in your internship, maybe they don't have a position open, but that letter of recommendation or that networking will help you down the line in your career.
You know what? That's such a great point. And I love, love, love that you said that college isn't for everyone, because I agree. College is a lot to take on,
Right.
financially. I mean, the workload, it is a lot. And I definitely agree that it is not for everyone. So I think you're exactly right. I think it's about figuring out your passion.
Right.
And it seems like you were pretty fortunate enough to do that at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in particular that has always just interested you since you were young? Was it kind of like, did you pivot at some point and it
Oh
led
yeah,
down this path? Like, how did you get to where you are?
I definitely pivoted. I did. I'm not. I did. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer for a
Oh,
long, long, long time.
mhm.
The year I was going to graduate from Medai College, I took the LSAT. I had a great score. I got into law school, and I decided I didn't want to have that career. I decided that I wanted to work in government. I wanted to be down the line a public elected official. So for me, yes, they kind of work, but it's a little bit different. I wanted to go to a different path because that was where my heart lied.
Mm,
Oftentimes, when we're young, we're saying we're going to be a police officer, or we were going to be this, or you're going to do that. And then you focus so much on that one career, not noticing, are you going to be really happy? I was
mhm.
told at a young age to intern at the City of Buffalo's law department. I was able to have mentors, and I learned by seeing them that wasn't for me.
Mm,
I want to be able to be happy every day. When I'm happy to do what I do, and that's a great thing. Not everyone has that, but if
yeah,
I can choose to be happy in the field that I currently am in, then I'm going to do it.
yeah.
And that's what I chose. I chose to change a little bit of a career path for my own happiness.
Hmm. I love that. Yes, I think it is so important to be happy. And, I think everyone chases the idea of happy, or, whatever happiness means for them. But at the end of the day, what we do in our career, we spend majority of our day doing that Monday through Friday, toss it up 5 to 8 hours a day, whatever it may be. We spend so much time dedicated
Right.
to our profession. So yes, it should make us happy. Granted, maybe we're not happy every day, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
most days it really should be something that you enjoy waking up and doing. And that's
Mhm.
amazing that you really do kind of guide young people into figuring out their passion and figuring out what can make them happy, because I mean, they could go to school for one thing and then
And I think make it okay where students, they can change majors. It's I
yeah,
rather change your major instead of getting a degree and you hate it. Like,
yeah,
it's okay to kind of learn that this may not be for you. And what just a lot of students and young women and all women from all different paths, if you're are you thinking of a career or deciding to start a career, shadow somebody. Get a mentor in that career.
mm,
And you can ask them all these different questions. People are willing to answer any questions if you just ask, right?
yeah,
So I'd rather you shadow a career. I make all my students do this. I said, okay, you want to be a computer scientist? Great, awesome. Have you talked to anybody in that? Have you done a program? Have you
right,
shadowed someone for a day and
right,
really realize if you like it? Have you done research on it? Because I'd
mm,
rather you not switch during college, but if you have to, it's okay because it's normal and it's life. You
yeah,
don't realize you're going to have so many jobs. That's change.
yes,
Might as
yes.
well learn to accept it and adapt to it.
Yes, yes. I love the shadowing idea. I definitely shadowed people when I was younger, and I think it was my parents that pushed me to do that. And honestly, most times people are super willing to help you
Mhm.
out. If you have an interest, they're willing to have you kind of follow them around for a day so you can really like see for yourself, could I see myself doing this? I think it's easy to imagine that I would like something or imagine that I could do something, but once you're in it, you may see things differently. So
Right.
I agree, that's super important for sure. Um, well, in terms of just, what or how you've gotten here, what are some things that you maybe wish you knew when you were younger? For instance, honestly, I love that you encourage, your students to to change their major if they feel like they need to. I feel like when I was in college, that wasn't really encouraged. It was kind of discouraged because obviously that may elongate your graduation time and things like that. So what were some things that you wish you knew when you were younger?
I would have to say that because I'm an overachiever, I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. I am an over and a lot of overachievers, we never take a time to smell the roses, right? We never give ourselves compliments. We always try to find what we did wrong and what we need to improve, instead of just saying, hey, take a second, compliment yourself, because that helps not only your self-confidence, but your self-image, right?
Yes, yes.
So I would say for me, as I was growing up, I wish somebody would have said, okay, yeah, you got straight A's, awesome, but you don't have to keep going. Take a second, enjoy that, compliment yourself, take care of yourself, get a self-care day or whatever, and understand that that's, even though you may not see it as a big deal, it's a big deal to somebody, and it should be a big deal to you because you still something. It could be small things, small victories. Going to the gym, maybe you haven't went to the gym for 5 weeks, going first time after 5 weeks. Okay, say you go, girl, compliment yourself, because if you don't do it, you can't expect others to.
Yes, I preach, girl. I agree. I really do. And it's something that I kind of recently implemented into my own life, just kind of taking a moment to appreciate, you know, your successes and your accomplishments. You're right. It's so important, whether you think it's important or not in the moment, it's important for your mental health too, you know, to remind yourself that, like, you know, it's easy, I think, to keep going, because you always feel like once you reach one goal, you're just off to the next. But you kind of have to recognize all the goals that you've already reached. And it does boost your self-confidence and it does boost your esteem. I totally agree.
Yeah. Being a life coach, during this pandemic, I decided to get certified for life coaching.
Oh, wow.
That it taught me, even getting certified, what things I had to work on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even as a professor, I sit down and I coach each of my students privately. I coach them because I said, yeah, this course is for a semester, but what can I give you that you can use in a lifetime, right?
Right.
So I would say that complimenting yourself, learning to love yourself, really love yourself, not say, oh, I love myself today. No, learning to really love yourself every day, which is hard especially for women. It's hard for us. We nitpick everything.
Yes.
But if we can learn to do that little by little, then we'll be able to have a stronger self-image. We'll be able to sit in a room with whoever and not compare ourselves, right? Because most women compare. We use comparison. So I think for any young lady or even women of different ages, let's start treating ourselves how we treat others, right?
Yes. I always say this quote to my friends, or maybe to myself, honestly. But like, yeah, treat yourself like you would treat your best friend, you know, like you wouldn't talk down about your best friend if she was having a rough day. You would encourage her, you would lift her up, you would try to make her feel better. And I think it's easy for us to be our own worst critic, you know. We know ourselves. So if we feel like we could have did something better, if we feel like, you know, we were kind of, you know, dropping the ball one day, like it's easy to be, like, okay, like you can do better. But instead it should just be much more uplifting, because at the end of the day, nobody does better from scrutiny. You know, no one gets better by badgering. So that's
and
about.
every time I say you see something that you need to improve on, don't just say, oh, this is where I need to improve. Don't say, I can't believe I did that. Like, don't talk to yourself where, instead of just saying, I need to improve on that, because what happens is you're imprinting that negative thought in yourself. And it becomes reality. I don't know if you ever seen somebody say, oh, I'm going to forget the words when I come up and do the speech. And what happens? They forget, right? Because they put all that negativity out there. So I think it's really important for no matter, especially in this pandemic, to be positive and to start loving yourself. Because I don't know if you noticed, but it's a huge percentage of individuals who were struggling in depression during this time. And I would say that most of the time you are probably sitting on the couch or just looking at yourself because you're not being productive. When you're so busy, you're not really nitpicking that much, right? But when you have that time and that silence, oh God, here it
Yes,
goes.
yes, that's such a good point. And to go back to what you were saying, like language is important. Like what you say is so important. And it can be hard to, change your language and, change the way that you talk about yourself to others or whatever. But it is just so important what you put onto the atmosphere because you're right. Like if you start your day like, ugh, I'm gonna have a bad day, you're
Mm-hmm.
probably going to have a bad day. I've gotten into this habit of waking up and be like, I'm gonna have a great day. And
Mm-hmm.
whether it's great, maybe it's just good, but it's still
Right.
like somewhere in the vicinity of what I set out for the day, in the beginning of it. And
Right.
I think language is so, so powerful. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's really important, how young girls speak to themselves also. I think, I'm so glad that you have this organization. It really, you seem like an awesome person to just learn from. Even from an adult to adult, I'm
Yeah.
sure kids learn so much from you as
Yeah.
well. And, being Girl Scouts of Western New York,
Mm-hmm.
is there any like imparting advice you could give girls right now? I mean, we have a ton of girls. There are some girls that, are will be going to college next year. There are some girls that probably just entered college soon, high school, even younger. I know this whole virtual learning experience is definitely, everyone's affected by it, parents and kids involved. So I guess what type of advice would you impart on girls right now that are, just kind of struggling with this virtual learning experience, but do want to learn, do want to keep pushing, and do want to really like set themselves up for a successful future?
So what I would first say is that remember this is temporary. This virtual thing, just remember it's temporary. One day you'll be in a classroom again.
Yeah.
You want to be prepared when you're in that classroom. And once in a while, I would say dress up like you're going to school. Dress up. For me, sometimes I throw some makeup on when I'm at home. I get ready. I act like I'm going somewhere, which I'm not going anywhere, but because it makes me feel good. Do things that make you feel good during a tough time. Oftentimes we focus on just having them sit in front of a computer. Okay, you're not having gym. Let's say you finish at 12:30. Do a workout inside the house on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do something that makes you happy. Find a new activity. Oftentimes a lot of students, I have a lot of boys who I help with college, and they're missing sports. They love it. They're like,
Mhm.
what am I gonna do without sports?
Yeah.
You know what I tell them? Go outside and still act like you're still part of a team and work out.
Yeah.
If you can get a buddy or so, be socially distanced, put a mask on, and make sure you're still interacting.
Right.
Because my biggest fear, Tia, is that we're so with technology, digital, and now they're stuck in a classroom at home that
Yes.
when they finally get into a regular classroom and see people, they won't have that connection and communication skill. So,
Mm.
parents, if you're watching this, make sure that you take away the phone and tablet once in a while after school and have them talk and have a real conversation.
Yeah.
As a professor who teaches public speaking, what I've noticed with generations, they're not used to that. They're afraid
Ah.
because we're using our phone all the time. You
Yes.
can be sitting next to someone and they will text you. Like, hello, put down the phone, talk to me real quick. Don't be afraid.
Right.
And it's something that unfortunately they're getting too used to.
Yeah.
So even with that, I would say that we need to continue pressing forward and teaching them to use communication skills and actually let them and remind them, even parents, because I know some parents are working from home, even
Right.
if it's permanent for you, don't tell them it's permanent for them.
Mm-hmm.
Be their biggest cheerleader right now,
Yeah.
especially seniors who are lost in the sauce applying to colleges, because unfortunately they would go to their teachers in person or they would go to their guidance counselor in person.
Yeah.
They're learning how to email properly right now, how to
Mm-hmm.
do everything online, and really they're by themselves. So if any Girl Scout needs help or anyone applying to college, please get on our website. We
Yeah.
will set an appointment. And I want to make sure free, free, free. We do not charge. So we will set up an appointment, help you do whatever you need to do. I could just have one of my students who applied to college and she just got a full ride.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I will walk you through anything, or one of our mentors will. And we want, the main goal for us is making sure that you reach the next level during the crazy time. But even if we were in normal times, that's the same mission.
Yes, yes, yes. We are going to put your website. I'm going to leave a comment with your website and I'm going to pin it to the top for anybody that's looking for more information. Endless Opportunities org. You seem to be doing amazing things for kids, and I'm sure they're so appreciative and fortunate for everything that you are giving them, all the information, all the tools, all the mentorship. I honestly wish something like this was around when I was going to college, honestly, because college can be a it can be a
Mm-hmm.
huge culture shock for some people,
Yeah.
especially if you're going out of state. And it's nice to have someone in your corner, honestly, other than your parents, that you feel like you can
Mm-hmm.
go to, you can talk to, you can ask questions. So yes, I will definitely leave information about your website in a comment. I'll pin it for anybody that's interested. We are coming up on our time. So I just want to thank you so much for chatting with me. I could keep chatting with you for sure.
Me
I
too.
love everything you said. I love
A whole
everything you stand
long.
for. I definitely would like to have you back again. So I just want to say thank you so much, Taisha. And again, for anyone that is interested in volunteering with the Girl Scouts of Western New York, we would really appreciate it. We have some awesome virtual programming going on right now. And you can take a look at everything at gswny.org. Again, my name is Tia Dabney, and thank you so much for joining us for the Cookie Jar. Have a good day, everyone.